Deep in the heart of the Florida Everglades, there lies a terrible secret waiting to be uncovered. So begins the latest edge-of-your-seat suspense thriller, Just Cause. Sean Connery plays a retired defense lawyer who, after 25 years of retirement, decides to take the case of a young black man who he believes has been wrongly convicted of murder.
The old girl said you was gonna be coming up in here, and I said no.
His investigation of the kid's apparent confession leads down a dark path where the town police seem just as corrupt as the criminals themselves.
It's the work of those on screen that helped Just Cause from becoming another average whodunit. Most notably is actor Ed Harris, who makes the most of his short screen time playing the resident psychopath on death row.
Let me tell you a few things, Armstrong. One, I am filled with power. You might think I'm an impotent prisoner, handcuffed and shackled, locked in an 8x7 cell each night and day, but I am filled with a strength that reaches way beyond these bars, sir.
The ultimate downfall of this picture is its tendency to borrow from other films. You can find elements of Cape Fear and Silence of the Lambs throughout the picture. So the ending, which is meant to be suspenseful and exciting, comes across as standard and predictable. A quick look at the box office standings from last week finds Just Cause in the #2 position overall. Now, those looking for a good mystery thriller will certainly find it here, but just don't get your hopes up too high, all right? Save Just Cause for cheap night. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp.
A tiny wild monkey, stolen from its tropical home, carrying seeds of destruction to the shores of America. A virus more contagious than the common cold, but 100% fatal. So lies the premise behind the new action thriller Outbreak, with the U.S. Army in a race against time to stop a global disaster.
He's losing it.
Leading the chase is Dustin Hoffman as the chief medical officer who finds himself not only fighting Mother Nature, but the government as well.
What can I do, sir?
Stay on him, get him out of the air.
Don't go under the bridge!
The big budget keeps this picture looking good, but it also keeps some scenes from being too disturbing or too unsettling. The basic idea remains, what if this really happened?
The most optimistic projection for the spread of the virus is this: 24 hours, 36 hours, 48 hours.
We can't stop it.
There's really not a lot to dislike about this film. The performances are good and the direction is exciting, but there's still a nagging feeling that this is a good movie that could have been a whole lot better. Film fans made Outbreak #1 in its opening last week, and it should continue to do well. The filmmakers were obviously going for action over realism here, so based on that, Outbreak is worth the full price of admission. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp.
Want to dance? No. I do believe Marsalis, my husband, your boss, told you to take me out and do whatever I wanted. Now I want to dance, I want to win, I want that trophy.
And if common sense prevails, there should be several trophies awarded to this film Monday night at the 67th Annual Academy Awards. Writer-director Quentin Tarantino's groundbreaking masterpiece, Pulp Fiction. A film that weaves 3 separate stories into one violent, shocking, and often very funny 2-hour adventure. There's John Travolta and Samuel Jackson as 2 bumbling mafia hitmen. There's Tim Roth and Amanda Plummer as a pair of small-time crooks, and Bruce Willis as the boxer who double-crosses the city crime boss.
Along with the twisted storyline and wide range of characters, one of the many accomplishments of this movie is Tarantino's ability to make character dialogue as compelling as the action scenes. You never forget that these are real people in unusual situations.
Right now, Yolanda, we're not gonna do anything stupid, are we? Don't you hurt him. Nobody's gonna hurt anybody. We're all gonna be like 3 little Fonzies here. And what's Fonzie like? Come on, Yolanda, what's Fonzie like?
Cool.
What?
Cool.
Correctamundo.
A couple of reasons why Pulp Fiction won't win the Best Picture Oscar. Number one, its violent subject matter will probably turn off some of the Academy members who prefer more family-friendly material. And secondly, it just might be too clever for its own good. Remember, this is only Quentin Tarantino's second film, and some might feel he hasn't paid his dues in this business yet.
Don't you hate that?
My prediction for Best Picture is Forrest Gump. But if I had my choice, Pulp Fiction, hands down. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp.
Under the cold gray of an eastern sky, on an isolated island off the coast of Maine,
Let go of me, Dolores!
there's been a terrible accident.
You killed her.
Kathy Bates is Dolores Claiborne in the new Stephen King thriller about a middle-aged woman facing her second accusation of first-degree murder.
I didn't kill her.
Well, we don't find out for sure until the end of the film. What we do know is that when Dolores is around, people seem to die. The first being her abusive husband, who takes a nasty tumble on the day of the solar eclipse.
What did you do to him, Mommy?
Nothing, baby. I promise.
20 years later, when her employer takes a fall, Christopher Plummer enters as a local detective determined that she doesn't get away with murder a second time.
I underestimated your mother. Won't happen again.
Stephen King fans will notice that the producers, as usual, have taken some liberties with the novel's basic storyline, but overall the most important element remains intact, and that is Maine's strong-willed woman, Dolores Claiborne.
You want to run me down? You go right ahead. You can be as mean and hateful as you want, but this is the last time you will ever hit me. You do it again, one of us is going to the boneyard.
After years of churning out below-average adaptations of Stephen King's work, it looks like Hollywood is finally starting to get it right. Dolores Claiborne joins the ranks of such fine King films as Misery and The Shawshank Redemption, thanks to its moody direction and top-notch acting. If you're looking for a good psychological thriller, Dolores Claiborne is worth the full price of admission. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp. From the underground comic scene to Hollywood silver screen, Tank Girl has taken over a theater near you.
Hi, I'm Tank Girl.
Lori Petty is the title character in this sci-fi adventure set in the year 2033. Water has become the world's most valuable resource in this very dry future, where H2O equals power and Tank Girl wants some.
Are you sure?
Standing in her way is the Water and Power Company, owned by the villainous Kesley, played by Malcolm McDowell, who isn't going to share his wealth without a fight.
Just say, I won.
I won.
No! No! Say, I won.
I won!
This film works well as a comic book come to life, though Tank Girl's feisty wit sometimes becomes more annoying than endearing.
He asked you a question, answer it.
Hey, I have 2 words for you. Brush your teeth!
Tank Girl doesn't pretend to be anything more than mindless entertainment. The cast and crew have worked hard to keep the pacing fast and hip for the Generation X crowd, but they sometimes get bogged down in cliched plot lines. The music's hot, and the story can be fun, so pick up the soundtrack and save Tank Girl for cheap night. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp.
I'm looking for a scrawny little Nishnah from Kitty-Abenisi.
The Kitty-Abenisi Reserve in Sucker Lake, Ontario, that is. That's where Canadian filmmaker Bruce McDonald has set his third and latest film, Dance Me Outside. Frank Fenspost and his good buddy Silas are the central characters in this coming-of-age story. It's 2 childhood friends who spend their days making plans and having a good time. All is not well in their little community, however. Silas's sister Ileana returns from the big city with a new husband, a lawyer from Toronto, and meets up with an old flame.
Gooch, this is my husband, Robert McBee. Robert Gooch Lacroix.
Pleased to meet you, Gooch. Ani. Weneshka wa win mo yen.
Guy Quick, Gooch.
One of the strong points of Dance Me Outside is its smart sense of humor. In this scene, Ilyena's husband takes part in a late-night ceremony to find his inner being.
Oh, I am the Wolverine! I am the Wolverine! Oh! What is that sound? It is a gopher. It is the beaver. Those cowardly rodents tremble before me. I am the Wolverine!
Dance Me Outside never delves too deeply into Native issues or beliefs. It chooses instead to focus on the more contemporary issue of growing up and accepting responsibility. There's far more involved in the plot that I've mentioned, so my advice to you is see this film. Dance Me Outside is worth the full price of admission and more. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp. He's a good guy on the wrong side of the law.
You're getting charged with murder.
He's Jimmy Kilmartin, and he's the main character in the new thriller Kiss of Death. David Caruso makes his return as a family man who, through a series of bad decisions, is lured back into a world of crime.
How can you do this? I can't make it out there without you. I don't understand what it...
There is one option to clear his name and walk free, and it's this option Jimmy decides to take. He breaks his code of honor and strikes a deal with police.
See, let me tell you. All I want now is what I had in my life. I want to be left alone with my family, and I want a job that feels good to me.
Now, to get all this, he has to serve up the local crime boss, played to sinister perfection by Nicolas Cage.
Time has come for everyone to clean up their own backyard. Clean up their own backyard.
There's quite a wide cast of familiar faces involved with Kiss of Death, but for the most part, all eyes are on David Caruso. And for fans of his style on NYPD Blue, he does not disappoint.
You don't like the taste of metal in your mouth, huh? Open up. Come on, Junior. Say ah.
The standout performances from Caruso, Cage, and Samuel L. Jackson are ultimately let down by a story that fizzles out by the end. There are hints of what could have been throughout this picture, but it just doesn't pull through. So instead of a crime story that is above average, we get a crime story that is simply average. Save Kiss of Death for cheap night. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp.
Sweetie, was the soup too hot?
Yikes. Well, as you can tell, there's something strange about the children in the new John Carpenter thriller, Village of the Damned, starring Christopher Reeve and Kirstie Alley. The townsfolk of small-town USA should have known something was awry when they all dropped unconscious one warm summer day, only to wake up and discover all the women of the town pregnant.
There's a lot of pregnancies, much more than would normally be expected. All the pregnancies seem to date from the day of the blackout. Oh, no.
It's apparent when the little ones arrive that they are, well, different. For one thing, they all look the same. Blonde hair, pale complexion, and they have a strange ability to control our minds. The whole cast here reads like a who's who of former big-name celebrities, but it's young actress Lindsay Hahn who steals the show as the leader of this white-haired brat pack.
If we coexist, we shall dominate you. That is inevitable. Eventually, you will try to eliminate us. We are all creatures of the life force. Now it has set us at one another to see who will survive.
It's hard to feel anything for this film besides mild boredom. There's no suspense, very little action, and maybe one scare. It's the storyline itself that keeps this picture from being a total waste of time. So if you've been thinking about Village of the Damned, do yourself a favor and wait for the video. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp. Ah, summertime in the city. Clear skies, friendly people, and of course, random bombings. The summer movie race is off with a bang, thanks to the new film Die Hard with a Vengeance. Bruce Willis returns as John McClane in the third entry of the Die Hard series.
Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. Oh, my God. Are you aiming for these people? No. Maybe that mine.
Jeremy Irons plays a mad bomber who takes John and New York hostage in a deadly game of Simon Says.
Simon Says McClane and the Samaritan will go to the subway station at 72nd and Broadway. I will call you in 15 minutes on the payphone outside the station. No police. Failure to answer will constitute non-compliance. Do you understand me, John?
Trying to top the chemistry and excitement of the original Die Hard is certainly not an easy job, but it helps to have an actor like Samuel L. Jackson along for the ride. He plays a store owner who becomes an unwilling partner to Bruce Willis's John McClane.
And they're probably going to end up having to get an operation.
We need this phone for official police.
Do you mind?
Honey, I'm a cop. I need the phone right now, please.
Man.
Get out the damn phone, lady. Police business.
Hell, never.
I can get used to this.
Die Hard with a Vengeance is not the strongest entry in the Die Hard trilogy, but for an action movie, it gets the job done. The summer blockbuster race is on, and filmmakers here have made sure all the required elements are in place. So if you're in the mood to give your mind a rest, Die Hard with a Vengeance is worth the full price of admission. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp. There's something hiding in the shadows of Whipstaff Manor, something mysterious, something that's been waiting for 50 years.
Casper! Okay.
And there he is, the friendly little ghost they call Casper and his friends, making the jump from cartoon to big screen just in time for summer film fans. Christina Ricci stars as the object of Casper's desire. She and her father move into his old mansion unaware of the ghostly inhabitants.
Dad, I found my room. There's a girl on my bed. Yes!
The sight gags are fun and the sets are certainly impressive, but the real stars of this picture are Stretch, Stinky, and Fatso, the three stooges of the spirit world.
Oh, and it looks as if we're gonna go into sudden death overtime.
Anybody for a little shishka dog?
I am.
Casper does tend to get a little maudlin at times, a little condescending, but for the most part, it manages to entertain both young and old. If you can overlook the promotional gimmicks and product endorsements scattered throughout this film, you just might enjoy this tale of the friendly little ghost. Casper is worth the full price of admission. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp. The author who brought us killer dinosaurs in Jurassic Park brings us killer gorillas in the new thriller Congo. An aging tycoon sends an expedition into the jungles of Africa to search for a lost collection of diamonds.
First they found the diamonds. Solomon's men. A diamond mine of incredible bounty.
Now, finding the ancient ruins wasn't a problem, but getting to the treasure turned out to be, thanks to some angry primates who don't take kindly to strangers.
What's that?
Richard! Richard!
Help me! Help me!
Richard!
Films like Alive and Arachnophobia to his credit, there's no question director Frank Marshall has the talent to make this film work, but it just doesn't. The suspense scenes lack suspense, the action scenes are less than thrilling, but the storyline keeps it mildly watchable. Congo is surprisingly bad for a summer release, so save yourself the money and wait for the video. Or better yet, read the book. For Film Watch, I'm Jay Sharp.